Quick, get Dan Thackeray on.
Why are we live? So then guys, if you're looking for quality recycled parts for your race car, head over to silverlake.co.uk.
Good evening everyone and welcome to the Club Racing UK podcast, the penultimate show of 2022 with our ambassadors. Good evening everyone, it's bloody cold and we're here.
Yeah, we are.
It is I'm going to bill this as our first official winter show of the season because it's bloody Baltic outside. Everyone's got the heating on, even though it costs a fortune. Yeah.
Well, you say that. Some of us have. I mean, I'm sat here ready with my hat in case it gets too cold. Just because, yeah.
Let's cut down the glare a bit.
You cheeky sod. For that, it's coming back off.
I like that. So we've got a bit of a revolving show today for our video and for our later audio listeners on Spotify and the like. So for our first segment of the show, we've got three wonderful guests, two of our actual ambassadors in Nick, Prawn, Vaughan and Cameron Bell, and the lovely Jeremy Evans, or Jezza as he's affectionately known, from Marketed Delivery. So we're just here to talk about how your seasons have gone and kind of reflect really on a very entertaining 2022. Not really looking at anyone, Nick. It could be either Nick. We've got two on the show, so we'll hold the suspense. The look from Nick Vaughan there kind of says it all. It's been quite an entertaining year, hasn't it, gents?
It's been, yeah. I mean, it's been. We were just saying off air, weren't we? It's been a bit up and down, left and right. What have you? Typical 2022. Mad to think when you put it there, when you say, oh, it's the penultimate show of 2022. It's like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah. Someone said to me at work earlier today, if you think we're coming to the end of the first year since COVID that hasn't been affected by COVID, no lockdowns, no crap. This is the first back to normal year since all the chaos, and it feels weird. It doesn't feel like it's quite happened, but we go on.
Still hear the word. You still hear the word, don't you? Still. I think.
Oh, they're still talking about it in Parliament and blaming it for everything. Anyway, let's go on to some news, shall we? We won't play the video because that's still really, really long because there's only one news segment. And I spoke to Steph and Nick about this beforehand. Hopefully, my three guests may have seen it crop up on your news feeds today. So the CSCC have actually announced there's going to be a 24-hour event at Anglesey. So not a full-on endurance race, but a 24-hour event. So it's for all of their classes and effectively just reading through how it works. So it's kind of the same as the Le Mans Classic and Daytona Classic. So it's going to be a 24-hour event at Anglesey Race Circuit, £725 entry fee. And it's effectively 4 races made into one. So you do 4 races, but they all come together to form one cumulative result in your class. So if you enter Tin Tops, Turbo Tin Tops, you do 4 45-minute races or 40 minutes, whatever they run. 2 in the daytime, 2 in the nighttime, and you have 2 20-minute sessions, 1 for qualifying and 1 to kind of nighttime acclimatise. What do you guys think?
An interesting concept.
Cool.
I mean, look,
Sounds like a good idea.
Sounds cracking. Sounds like a good deal, really. Quite a lot of track time for the cost.
Well, so for £725 for 210 minutes of track time.
Yeah.
Which rough maths in my head. So 60 minutes in an hour. So you've got about 3.5 hours running time, give or take.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
That's
really
not
good.
bad.
Yeah.
it's not bang for your buck.
No,
And
it's
Anglesey is a mega track.
I'm
We know
intrigued
this.
by the idea of.
You need some
I'm
time.
intrigued by the idea of racing in the dark as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just
cool.
like it's not just like a normal event where you're racing all in the day. You get to experience the day and the night. So
No, and again, it's quite something unique, and because it's middle of the year, so they're running it the first weekend, so it's going to be the 1st and 2nd of July. So that is going to be right in the midsummer on the longest day of the year. So effectively, they're going to do it sort of, well, the way they do it, they'll say you'll sort of qualify for your series, let's say roughly at 10 a.m. on the Saturday for a 20-minute session. You'll have your first race at, say, 2 o'clock, then your second race at 7 o'clock, so you're just going in the sort of setting sun. Then you have a 30-minute sort of nighttime familiarization when the sun goes down. And then you have another 40-minute race sort of at midnight, and then another final 40-minute race sort of at 8:30 in the morning on the Sunday. So it really does sort of run around the clock.
Wow.
That's quite, yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Well,
That's a mad idea, really, isn't it? Pretty cool.
And I suppose it's something unique for British Club Motorsport, and it's something unique to go to Anglesey with, because let's be honest, you probably couldn't do something like this at Snetterton, at Alton Park, because they're so restricted with noise and everything. So Anglesey, there is a bit of leeway to do that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So
we did the KA 24-hour race in Anglesey earlier in the season. So it does get proper dark, and there's nobody for miles around to hear your tyre scream because there's no engine noise.
yeah,
no,
you get to have like a bit of a good day out, even when you've travelled 4 or 6 or 8 hours to get there.
because that's the other. See, that's what I was thinking. Obviously, Anglesey being so far out, to cram 4 races in, although they add up, but to cram 4 races in 24 hours, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
absolutely.
I like the idea of that.
Absolutely. And I mean, obviously being biased, working for the C1 club, they have the 24 hours at Silverstone, but they're quieter cars, whereas a lot of the cars that race with the CSCC, I mean, so Slick Series, they have like GT2 Moslers and stuff like that on the grid. So they're going to be proper loud cars.
That's going to be wicked cool.
Yeah, you wouldn't be. I mean, even in the Brit car days when they had it at Silverstone, there was an issue with noise. So yeah, it's a good thing for the calendar. But it was just something that cropped up on my newsfeed today, and I thought, bloody hell, because it comes up first 24-hour events. You assume it's a 24-hour race, but no, it's this very unique event. So yeah, let's go to some of the comments as we join the show this evening. Good evening, everyone that's joined us. So Carl Barton, it's that time of year again. Get the popcorn at the ready. Vicky Pratt joins us. Jason Hennifer. Mr. Rainbird, I think Nick Prawn Vaughan will be more astute to this gentleman here. Jason Stone joins us. Hopefully he's got a new engine in that Fiesta. James Stone Street. Matt Cleary, hold on. I'm making a coffee.
Oh, okay. We'll all wait for you, Matt.
Yeah, if we could just wait here for 5 minutes. Kaylee Green, I could see a Max Coach drawing in Rob's background. Yes, you can. I can see one. There's two drawings of Kaylee's up there actually, because my one is sort of mid up top. I'll try and bring them down in a second. Stuart, comments, or you can race the GP at Brands with the CTCRC on the same weekend. That's a very good point. Frank Mead, evening chaps. Good evening, Frank. So,
good evening, Frank.
So this is our final sort of ambassador show, and really what we wanted to do is get some of you guys on there to talk about your season. Now, I have a feeling we're going to spend a lot longer on Nick Vaughan's season than most. It's been quite an entertaining year, hasn't it, Nick?
Yeah, no, it's been our first
deep breath.
It's been our first sort of attack at an actual championship, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster. Yeah, that's one way to put it.
So I take rough notes on just handwritten notes for any episode I do. So what I've got here is some short quip. Pole at Thruxton, Silverstone surprise, Snetterton big boom.
Donington, your notes?
Yeah, Donington borrowed engine.
Donington borrowed engine. Yeah, so Silverstone sort of I think warmed us to getting stuck into it for trying to do a championship. I think we had the gearbox out 3 times in a weekend, which was nuts. And we went to the next round of Brands, and all anyone would mention to us was the gearbox. I'm like, is the gearbox still in it? Yeah. And that sort of followed us all year, but it almost sort of like, I don't know, like endeared us to it at first. Everyone's like, bloody hell, these guys aren't afraid to get stuck in, which was really cool, actually. So the highlight for me was definitely pole at Thruxton. Home track, having all my family there, my wife, my little boy, everyone, and to get our first overall pole was just like, wow, absolutely amazing. Really, really loved that. And, overall, really up and down.
It's an up and down year, but I kind of want to go back to Silverstone because I remember, obviously, I came to watch with Nick and I think my sister, a few people. We came to watch you, and you had the gearbox out, but we then had a conversation in the garage. And this, bearing in mind, this is after qualifying that this has all happened. We came to see you, so we kind of knew roughly what you'd done on the track. And so to sort of remember what you said to me, so you were sat in a pub with a couple of the biggest characters you could probably come across in that championship, which is Andy Wilson and Malcolm Harding. Lovely blokes, real proper club racers, just love the sport, live and breathe it. And they sort of asked you, didn't they, what sort of you expected to be on that grid?
Yeah.
So take it from there and tell us the story.
We had you go into these things, no one goes into this thinking you're going to be absolutely rubbish, do you? But you never got any idea where you're really going to end up. So we kind of hoped if we could be overall top 10 sort of region, we'd be really happy. Said I'd be really happy with doing a 112 or something, I think it was, Silverstone International. And they all kind of had a bit of a giggle and went, he's the new boy, he's never going to do it. Went out into quali and somehow did a 110.4, I think it was, and just came back in and went, oh, Christ, that's all right, wasn't it? And put us 4th overall in our first ever race with Thunders. So it was like going into it, absolutely no idea where we were going to end up, sticking at 4th. And then you weren't really sure how people were going to take it, whether people kind of get their backs up a little bit. But it was the most friendly reaction I could have imagined. And since then, it's just felt like home ever since. And everyone's just we just felt part of it right from day one. And everyone in the pits kind of crowding around, seeing what we're up to with the gearbox blowing up. It's nice when you get characters like that in a series and they instantly warm to new people. It shows that they want to promote the sport and want to grow it rather than just there for an ego trip sort of thing. So it was, it felt like home from that day on, really.
So have you kind of built up the muscles in your shoulders now just to get used to lifting everything out and back in again?
No, we've just figured out a pulley system to make it quicker.
Fair enough. I mean, to be honest, mate, there's some wonderful pictures here of you in action. This was, we got this photo from Snetterton. A lap later, it didn't look so good, but to see your car on, you've come from road sports last year where you had about, if I dare say, about half the power, give or take.
Yeah, it's probably not a million miles off half the power, no, from when it was detuned. We kind of cranked it all up to 11 this year, just like a bit of a showcase, see what we can do, see what you can do with a compromised home-built front-wheel drive car, which, you know, is really similar to what so many people race. It's just kind of the same thing on steroids. So Thunders has got all these prestige, you know, race cars. Everyone knows of the 8 supercars, the Zac Speed Escorts, the Cozzies, the M3s. We wanted to turn up in something properly shed-built at home with some support from a couple of really great people and kind of go, what can you do with this? And yeah, I'm really, really chuffed with how it's gone. It's been a really cool year and a very, very steep learning curve as well.
I must say, you know, as you just put it there, in a home-built car, to take on some of the absolute giants in the sport. I know, obviously, you know, we're going to touch on the downside of it, but I think it's safe to say when you're making poles at Thruxton, the fastest track in the UK, and as you saw in that picture there at Snetterton, you're on the front row kind of thing. It's just, it kind of pays testament to your car means business, you guys mean business. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a up and down, topsy-turvy year, but it's definitely shown potential there, mate.
Well, more than potential.
No, it's been, I think the biggest thing is just like commitment, getting stuck in. Don't accept that it's not going to happen. You know, you get stuck in, you put in the hours, whatever it takes, and we just don't take no for an answer, pretty much.
Well, I mean, talk about getting stuck in. This is pretty much getting stuck in.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that the block and the rocker cover are painted orange to sort of match the aesthetic.
Oh, it's got to be, hasn't it? Everything orange is better.
Everything orange.
Everything orange. So you had
everything orange.
The Silverstone surprise, the pole at Thruxton, home territory. I think, did you get second in both races on that? If I'm just off the top, if I can think.
My signal keeps dropping. Could you repeat that? Sorry, Rob.
That's all right. Did you get second in both of those races? It was definitely the one because there should be a photo here somewhere if you're claiming it.
What did we get? Yeah, we got second in both races at Thruxton after pole. It's different starting at the front with the quick stuff. It's really different. I'm focusing all around me. You know, Thruxton, first lap, I'm focusing. I'm looking in my mirror saying, don't let Andy Wilson up the inside. Don't let him up the inside. I was so busy looking at the mirror, I didn't see the blooming red lights. And the next thing I know, I turn around and go, oh, crap, the lights are gone. Look to my side and he's already gone. It's like, oh, Jesus. So, yeah, it's amazing how sharp you've got to be starting at the very front because you're sort of setting the pace. You're leading the pack. So you're so focused on what's behind you and not giving anything away. You've got to have it all over the place. It's mad. Absolutely mad.
Fantastic. So, I mean, Snetterton, you know, you're consistently showing really good pace in qualifying. And unfortunately, at Snetterton, I was watching the live stream at the time and I screamed at the telly because you were there 1 minute and then you weren't. And it's heartbreaking to see. So, heartbreaking. So, what happens?
Yeah. So quali was really cold and damp. It's the first cold race we've had all year. So it's like the first time out on these big slicks that we now run in the cold, having to get temperature in them. So quali just felt like an absolute roller coaster. Got one good lap at the end, came in, I was like, oh wow, put it second again. Really, really happy with that. Had a bit of a pep talk with myself on the line. Don't cock up the start. You know, my starts hadn't been as good as I'd liked and got an amazing start. Chased Jason down to the first corner, got level with him on the outside, tucked back up under him, pushed him into a little mistake into turn one, took the lead. And I was like, wow! I was screaming away in the car. I was like, well, here we go. Down to turn 3, turned in, and as we exited, it felt a little flat. And I just kind of thought, I don't like the feel of this, feels a bit flat. Came out to turn 4, and it just boom. And it was catastrophic failure. Absolutely everything totally destroyed. Engine, block, head, turbo, everything in the bin. So yeah, not the best, but everyone's waving around ideas and theories and, you know, suggesting what's possibly gone wrong. But to be honest, I built the head 5 years ago in my asbestos hut. So it's 5 years at like 8,000 RPM, 500 horsepower. Never planned to be doing track day or racing on it. It was only ever a bit of track day fun. And we just sort of forgot how old it was. And then you ask it to do a full season at that. And shouldn't really be too surprised when it goes bang.
but it's given you a hell of a ride up to that point.
It's given us the most awesome ride. First couple of tracks of the year, so we knew Silverstone, we didn't know Brands, we didn't know Alton, we'd never driven them before, so it's kind of like biding our time before we could show what we really thought we could do. Came to Thruxton was the first one that I actually knew, and it was like boom, put it on pole. It was just the best feeling ever. And from there, it's been tracks that I know better. So we've had like, the second half of the year until the engine went bang has been really, really good.
So overall, that's sort of it's been a season of highs and lows. But you finished top 3 in the championship, from doing my research. So you finished top 3 in the championship, and obviously your goal.
So we were.
Sorry, Nick. So yeah, your goal is.
Sorry, it's really laggy my end.
It is a bit laggy, isn't it? It's absolutely fine. We'll carry on as well. But so your goal, sort of going into next year, is to stay with the series and go for that number 1 spot.
Stay with the series. We're improving the car. We've got some really awesome sponsors that have been with us this year that are coming with us into next year, as well as a couple of new ones that'll be announcing in the near future. And just try and improve the car, make it more reliable, build on what we learned this year, because we went into it not really knowing what on earth we were doing, running the car at this level. And it took us probably 3 rounds to get our heads around it, get properly moving before we kind of got to where we wanted to be with it. So I think hopefully next year hit the ground running, a little bit more testing, and just try and finish every race. I mean, that's the biggest thing, and it's mad. It's why so often championships aren't won by cars in like the higher classes, because they're so highly strung. They're less reliable by nature. It's why so often multi-class championships are sort of won by your class C kind of bracket, because you can have a really good, really quick car, but it can still be reliable, that it can finish every race in a season. Which is, it's such a balancing point between performance and reliability and everything.
Fantastic. Right, back to some comments here. So Rainbow has commented. This is comment of this podcast is sponsored by Iceland. Plenty of frozen prawn. I like that. That's very good. I like that. He did say as well there was a good job there was no money riding on that lap time. So is that referring to this conversation in the pub?
Shush.
All right, we'll leave it there. We'll leave that there. Stuart Kai, best club in the country. Alex Gazzard, nice kitchen, that Nicholas.
Cheers, guys.
Right, I think there was a few late comments that came in regarding the Anglesey round. Andy Wilson, who wants to put that much wear on their car in one weekend? To be fair, I think there's a few people that like the endurance aspect of things, and they become quite popular. So I think it's just a case of if you've got the money to run in those endurance-style events, and then have it. Andy Johnson does comment it's an absolute bargain. Adam Smith, in Anglesey, no one can hear you scream.
That's true.
I'm not saying anything. James Stone Street, depends on the car, would have no concerns putting that time on my Fiesta, for example. I guess that was a reply to Andy Wilson. So Frank Mead also comments as well, was amazing to be present and see the work behind the scenes being laid down on the track at Thruxton. And I suppose as well, it's been good to see. I mean, you had a big following before this year anyway, Nick, through your track day and your road sports aspect. So how warming?
It's been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, how it's been, because you sort of probably steamrolled a bit more with the series you've been in and the way the car's developed and the up and down way it's gone.
Yeah, we started the YouTube channel to follow. We started it when we knew we'd be going racing. I've been documenting it on forums and stuff for forever. But the following and the number of people, every round we've been to, we've had like 10 or 20 people turn up that I've never met. They've just come to watch us because it's been their local track. And you've had guys bring their kids. We've had the kids sat in the car pretending to drive it. We've had like people, just so many people come along to watch it. And there's so many people sending pictures after. People that haven't come and said hello. They've been, I was there today watching. If you're there and you watch us and you follow us, come and say hello, because we're a pretty friendly bunch, to be honest. And none of us take ourselves too seriously about it. It's been brilliant. And to see all the comments in the live stream and stuff. And we've got people all over the world that follow it, because it's, every car has its scene, whether it's a Jap scene or the German VW, that sort of thing. And we've got people in America, we've got people in Australia commenting and following it. And it's just been so cool. It's like a proper community thing. And everyone, there aren't that many 1.8T kind of things, racing in high-powered stuff. Loads of it in the, the more endurance-y type stuff, because they make pretty good endurance sort of cars. Not so many in like the Thunders kind of stuff and high-powered. So it's been really cool because I think people seem to enjoy watching it. So yeah, we've enjoyed sharing it with everyone, and it's been really good fun.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you for your involvement this year in the Ambassador Programme.
Thank you. It's been really cool having you guys along to several events as well. And it's nice. It's nice seeing how you perceive it from like a different side of the lens as well, when you've done like videos and stuff showing what goes on.
Mm-hmm.
No, good, fantastic. I mean, we're certainly roller coastering along in this podcast. It's 8:25, and we're due to have Dan Thackeray, who is actually in the background. We'll have to bring him in shortly. And we're only on our first ambassador this evening, but thank you, Nick Vaughan. Great to have you on. Cameron Bell, thank you for waiting patiently. So, Cameron,
I didn't see him busting many shapes while he was waiting. Though.
No.
Well,
so for everybody who's watching and listening in the podcast, Cameron has promised us a dance throughout the show. So
I didn't promise no dance.
You definitely said you were going to do some dance.
We are missing some shoes.
You did.
Okay, Cameron.
Robot dance.
So while Cameron decides what dance he's going to do, so Cam, you've had an interesting year in the 750 Motor Club Toyota MR2 Championship, arguably one of the closest one-make series in the country up and down. And we're lucky as well with Dan Thackeray. He was arguably in another very close one-make series. So there's been door banging going on. It's really been a season of improvement for you, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, it has. I was going to describe my season as a roller coaster, but compared to Nick, I can't really describe it as a roller coaster. So I'll describe my season as an amusement ride. There has been some ups and downs, but it has been good. Yeah, you're exactly right, Rob. It is a difficult championship to race in. All the cars are more or less exactly the same. You make one mistake. I was racing at Alton Park last race of the year. Tried to go around the outside of someone through Shell Oils Bend. Messed it up. I was on the grass and I lost five places instantly. And in a one-mate series, it's just difficult to gain that back. But yeah, my season's it's had its ups and downs. Donington at the start of the year was a bad one, an electrical fault, and then second race never happened. Silverstone, that was a new track to me, but I think I was pretty happy with that performance. I think I finished somewhere 16th, 18th. I think sort of mid-pack, in between 15th and 19th is about where I've been all year. I got a 12th at the end of the year at Alton Park, which was my best position. I think at the start of this year I said I wanted to be top 50, possibly get a top 10, but that top 10 never happened. So I'll keep pushing and probably try move on to that for next year. Yeah,
I mean, you can't argue with, in a very competitive series, you've had the highest of P12, so you're nearly there. I mean, we've got some images of how your season's gone from here. This is you with the lucky handbrake. This is you very happy that the handbrake is holding your car, and then this is you when someone has taken your handbrake. I saw that. So this is like happy Cam with his handbrake, happy Cam in car, angry Cam.
The handbrakes aren't notorious for not being very good in roadsters, and I think mine might work better on one side than the other. But, yeah, that piece of wood is especially for when it's going back onto the trailer. It keeps it in position whilst I jump out.
Fantastic. But again, so we've got images here from down into Cascades in Alton Park, and for someone that's fighting mid-pack, there's still so many cars behind you. And it shows just both the quantity of cars in the field, but it doesn't take away from the quality of racing, does it? No, it doesn't. There's some great drivers in the MR2 Championship, especially the sort of top 4 or 5. Aaron Cook, Ali Topley, Dan Sylvester, Sean Trainer. Those guys have been racing for a while, and they're all
real fast guys. It'd be amazing if I could get up to their level. And eventually I'll get there, I think.
No, great. So your personal highlight of the year?
Highlight. So it's Silverstone International, round 5, I think, in the championship. I was out in qualifying. I qualified 12th, and I absolutely loved qualifying. I changed the setup to the car each race just to see what I don't do any testing really. So each race, each qualifying session is like a bit of a test session for me, and I changed the setup, camber, toe, dampers, and all that. And Silverstone International qualifying session, we got the setup really quite well, and I felt like I had so much grip out there, and I managed to qualify in 12th. My sponsors were there. They came over and were like, "Oh, so top 10 here, Cam? You're gonna do it? No pressure. Thanks for that." I can remember being sat on the grid, starting 12th. I was amazed to be there because you could even in 12th, you can sort of like see the front couple of cars, and then got away off the line in race 1, cracking start, held the position. Then into turn 3, there's a car in front that locked up in front of me, and I had nowhere to go. I just went straight into the side of them, and then that put me out of the race for that. So then we repaired the damage, a couple of control arms and a bit of body work. And then for race 2, I was starting from the back of the grid, and then got another cracking start, and I went from the back of the grid up to 15th in race 2. So that was probably the highlight of the year. It had everything. It was a great weekend.
That's good, man.
Awesome.
Good driving.
No, fair play. I mean, it's especially good to have. So your main sponsor is Page & Kirk, isn't it? So we can see
that's it. Yeah, Page Kirk Accountancy. They're a local company in Nottingham, local to me, and I think what they wanted to really, the two things was extra. They wanted to market into a different audience, get other people involved, but they also were very keen on like supporting local talent or local sports clubs. And I was just lucky enough that they saw racing or motorsport as something that they wanted to get involved with, and lucky for them to come on board with me, and it's been a really good year, and I can't thank them enough, really. Hopefully we'll be able to have some discussions for next year, because the stickers are on the car, so why
not? Okay, let's talk about it's a good tactic, to be fair. Well, your stickers are already on the car, you may as well.
They're already there.
They're already there.
Marketing delivery ones in the garage, I might stick them on.
Very good, very good, very good. Rainbird does comment, solid result that, Cam. So congrats on a great, good learning year. So next year, a bit more of the same and get into that top 10.
Yeah, possibly. It's I need to have a look at the calendar, and I'm going to have a think about what I want to do for next year. I might do it. I'm not 100% sold on doing a full MR2 championship yet. After the Burkitt, something like jumped into my head around like other cars. Like you're racing other cars. Like I'm trying to keep up with like Civic Type R's and MX-5 stuff like that, and then you've got M3s coming flying past you, and so maybe something jumped into my head about racing into something that's like a class structure. So I'm not entirely sure what next year will hold for me. I really hope that I will be able to get onto the grid and continue improving, but not sure exactly where I'm going to be yet. But yeah, I'm sure you'll see me on there, and I hope to see you guys come watch me race.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Absolutely. So what you're saying
are we saying that the Burkitt relays ruined your look at just a one-make series?
I wouldn't say it's ruined my look. I say it's widened my vision.
I think we've got a comment here from Liam Browning, which I think has hit the nail on the head. So he's got club sport or club enduro vibes.
Possibly. Maybe not club. Is the club enduro? Is that like the 2 hour stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly not. Oh, well,
Yeah.
the MR2 is very reliable. It probably could do it. Yeah, maybe. I'll have a think.
Maybe. Well,
Okay.
You said, yeah, to be fair, that we were counting on you really. When we had the Burkett, we were like, "That's the steady car. You're doing well with that." You were flying at the Burkett, which is great. So
Yeah, the car's been really good this year. Apart from the gearbox, went to Snetterton. So between races, we had to put a new gearbox in, which was fun.
Yeah.
In lying on parched, sunburnt grass underneath the car, spannering the gearbox out, and you've got wind blowing this dried grass in my eyes. Loved that.
highly recommend that.
Yeah.
if you're not getting crap blown into your eyes, it's not proper club racing. It's
not. No. I would like Snetterton to expand their tarmac paddock area, though. Come on.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd be
It's awful.
Although saying that, it could be worse. It could be Cadwell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, they have extended theirs, though, haven't they?
A little bit, yeah.
Ish.
2 rows.
Tiny bit. Palmer's got to pay for chopper fuel, Nick. Remember that.
This is true.
It's good. Just about so we've had a comment from John Sandblaster Tyson. Prawn has really showed new blood in the Thunders this year. With in a wrong wheel, well done, a legend. Liam Browning makes a change for it not to be pissing down. I mean, there was that we moan about it being absolutely freezing cold now, but there was that quite unique summer we've had where every photo of a race meeting we saw was brown grass, 40-degree heat, people moaning about the heat, and even at a couple of race meetings where we were told, if you break down, please try not to park on the grass because we're worried you will set it on fire.
Yeah, do not park on the grass. There is no grass.
Fantastic. But
yeah, we were very lucky with our summer, weren't we? Let's be honest. As this is a bit of a year review.
Absolutely. I think, to be fair, Dunlop and the co would have been a bit gutted they didn't sell as many wets, but swings and roundabouts and all that. I'm sure it'll be a doubly wet year next year that they'll be able to recoup some of that back. But Cam, thank you, mate. Yeah. I mean, it's again, I just have to reiterate it to hold your own in a one-make series like that. And now the Burkett has given you a bit of a taste of endurance racing. So we'll look forward to see how you progress in 2023.
Thank you guys for selecting me. It's been a brilliant opportunity. This time last year, I was thinking all sorts of going through my head, but just for like the opportunities that you guys have offered, but not just you guys, but your partners and the extra stuff like the track day at Snetterton and Burkett. It's been brilliant, and just all the support and networking throughout the year. I've really enjoyed it, and I'll miss it actually. I think I'll apply next year, even though I can't. I will apply.
Why not?
But like we said to you at the Burkett, didn't we? Obviously, in light of everything that was going on leading up to the Burkett, we obviously called on previous year's racers. So even though you guys are signing off after this show, you will forever be a Club Racing UK ambassador. So don't worry about that.
Put a car down next year, you're getting a phone call.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you're in, you're in. There's no escape.
You guys have been really cool.
Fantastic. You say that, Nick. We actually I've saved this paragraph from Dawn Butcher, one of our first-year ambassadors, actually. Evening, guys. Had a challenging year that started with disappointment, leading us to try out a couple of different races, including a 2-driver race. Ending on a high, we've signed to join the Classic VW Cup for a full season next year. They've joined the BRSCC bill. The B42's motorsport team will be back on full power for 2023 and promoting the Marshals all the way. We'll be on the grid with the BRSCC, who also run a 2-driver series, being the Club Sport Trophy. Happy to be looking forward to the new season. Keep up the great work, fellas. Happy Crimbo. Thank you, Dawn.
Thanks, Dawn.
Again, that's one of our old ambassadors. Now, we're going to start a bit of a civic reception now, quite literally, as we move to Jeremy. But before I do, Jeremy has very Look, I'm going to grass him up. He's put in the private chat here one thing that has escaped us this year, Nick.
You ain't getting away from it, boyo.
Right.
We can get your kit back.
What did we say at the beginning of this year was the rule if you won trophies?
I did.
There was something about. No, I don't remember. No, not a clue.
Just for the record as well, and he doesn't know it's coming, but Steph, did you not win at Brands Hatch the other week? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So
Come
guess
on,
what you
Steph,
two
lead
are
by
going to be doing
example.
right now?
Don't know what you're on about.
Come on, boys. Come on. It's the last 2022 Ambassador show.
Get your shoes out. If not, at least Nick, if you want to sterilise, use a beer you've got at home. We need you've finished on the overall podium in the championship. Come on, man. We need at least one.
All right, I'll get one. I'll sort something.
You promised, right?
It's the state of my shoes that scares me.
What, even
It's
your
the
race?
state of
don't
my
worry.
shoes that scares me. You want to
We're not worried about that.
Yeah, you don't want to drink out of that.
We're not going to. You are.
Nick, I raced in 40-degree heat in a black car at Snetterton and then had to do one. You're not getting away with it. Yeah, it did taste like athlete's lager. It wasn't good. Come on, you owe us a shoey, and so does Steph's. We're going to save until the awards.
I guess I could do one. I could do one now. It's the off season because I could wash it after.
Exactly.
That's it. See?
Straight in the wash. So brace yourself, folks. If you could get us a video and we can post it up, that would be epic. Absolutely epic.
Do it. Sign off.
Carl Barton does make the point. Shoes and Brews, the Club Racing UK news.
Shoes and Brews. That is happening. That is happening.
I like that. So yes,
I will do a shoey. Oh, it's gone.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't got. You're going to do a shoey.
The lag. I will do a shoey for you, sat in my empty engine bay.
Do it.
Hey.
Do it.
Deal.
Do it. Thank you very much. So, Jezza, now you've grassed up Nick.
Well, I'm the only one that did one this year, so the others better do theirs.
Yeah.
Well done, Jez.
Yeah. Well done, Jez.
Well, Dan Thackeray did one.
I was going to say Dan Thackeray did one.
Dan's done one as well, yeah.
Should we get Dan on? I feel a bit sorry that he's just sat there.
He is sat in the background. So, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen, our Civic Cup ambassador, Dan Thackeray.
Hey, that's
I was going to say, I did my shoey. I filmed it. I've got proof.
yeah.
I sit straight to the shot. I did my shoey.
I know.
I did it.
It's
Now,
not something you're going to forget quickly. It was quite torturing.
I will say though, Dan, don't be too keen to speak up because you did your shoey for how you did in the race, but you still finished in the top 3 in the championship. So I wouldn't speak too highly if I were you. You may owe us another one.
We can deflect away from him though, because we got 2 flakes here that haven't done one yet. And let's be honest. Steph's got on the podium twice this year, and he's missed it twice.
You need to remind me when I've got my boot on. That's what you need.
No, you need to remember. It was your bloody rule.
It was actually. And when
It's
it happens,
the Club Racing
always,
UK rule.
That is the rule, and Steph is always the first one to go. You need to do a shoey. You need to do a shoey.
I think it was for the ambassadors and partners. I don't think we made it.
You made
It's definitely
that
for
one
us
at
as well.
Snetterton. You are not getting away with it. That tasted
Practice what
rancid. You are not
Practice
getting away
what
with
you preach, boyo.
it. Yeah.
I'll do it. Just got to remember to bring my boot in. I'm not getting it now. It's in the van.
Yeah, James
Still
Stone
in
Street,
the van.
thank you, mate. More flakes than an ice cream van.
Yeah, you're right there, Joe.
Yeah,
Definitely.
right. We're going to start a civic reception here because Jezza, to be honest, mate, you've had a roller coaster year as well.
Yeah.
The good news
Guys,
is,
can we stop referring to roller coasters, please?
Oh, all right.
we have to deal with them all day in our normal
I
job.
saw you with the Triceratops.
Yeah, you did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. let's get back to the podcast quickly. So, Jezza, and I mean, Phil, I hope you're watching tonight, mate. Love you to bits. Really glad that you are back on the mend, because at Cadwell, it must have been quite frightening. But I mean, you've had a season of ups and downs.
Yeah, it was quite irritating at Cadwell because he was supposed to start the next race, and while he was off in ambulance away somewhere, I had to sort the car out, get it to the grid, start it myself, and then he wasn't there at the pit stop to take over from me. I had to do the whole race myself, so I just blew the engine up instead. So yeah, it was quite trying.
Stop this! You just had a strap on. I'm not doing this. Boom.
But, yeah, it was quite an interesting weekend that, but yeah, there we go. There's the Civic. Complete with a new engine now, and Phil's back in the car with me, and we actually picked up a podium at Donington on his first race back in the car, so we came third in class in his first race back in the car. So that was that was pretty special for us.
And you did a shoey. You did a shoey for that, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
See, so
yeah.
I
don't renege on my commitments, you know.
Yeah. No, that's what we like. That's what we like at this club.
Well, I mean, to be honest, Nick, you know, they do say that Honda's are most reliable. Turns out their drivers are more reliable as well.
Yes.
I joke.
Well,
I joke.
They're not, because Steph won in a Honda and he didn't do it.
I take that back.
Part-time driver, part-time shoey.
In that case, I take that back then. But so, I mean, this has been your first season with the Honda that you bought. So it was originally a club. Was it a Club Enduro?
It was a Club Enduro car. Yes, I think it was originally built as a Type R trophy car, and then the previous owner turned it into a Club Enduro car. And then we bought it off him, and just basically spent the season kind of getting to know it, really, trying to understand how it went. We had the Clio the season before, which broke down every time we thought we were onto something with it. So got rid of that and got the Honda. So it's been a really good season, just learning how the car behaves, learning how to look after the tyres. We did the Track Day Trophy in it, so 45-minute races. So yeah, have to learn to manage tyres and look after the car. Sometimes more successfully than others. Blown up one engine and got through a couple of gearboxes this year, but I think we're on the right track with it now. But it's been a lot of fun. Love driving the car. We've both got quicker every time we've got in it, which is object of the exercise, I guess. So yeah, looking forward to kind of pulling it apart, putting it back together again over the winter, and cracking on again next year with it.
Wonderful, Jeremy, wonderful, and the full KAs as well, which has been quite a mainstay for you guys over the years, and how we actually,
how we met, Yeah, so, the KAs has been really good this year because we introduced the junior KA this year. So we've been running two for some of the rounds this year with my 18-year-old son and Callum Perfect, who's your profile picture of the month winner last month or this month. He's 16-year-old. He's the son of Tony, who mechanics with us, and so he's been racing with us this season as well. So having two teenagers in the junior KA has been really really good experience for them. They've been quite irritatingly quick, quite early on, which was a bit annoying. So we had to try and put some ballast in their car. And they shared with us at the 24-hour race. So we did one car at the 24-hour race. So for me personally, to do a 24-hour race with my son in the same car in his first season of motor racing was pretty good. I got to play, having coached him at rugby since he was 5, I got to play rugby with him at the end of last year in an adult game, and we got to share a race car this year. So yeah, some big kind of dad tick-off moments for me this year. And the whole kind of community around club racing has been fantastic this year. So speaking to the ambassadors from a business perspective, as well as a kind of racing and enthusiast perspective, has been really, really, really enjoyable this season. We've had a lot of fun.
Well, looking at the business perspective, so this was launched. So VoiceBox was launched this year by your company, Marketing Delivery. So tell us a bit about that.
So it's an e-marketing platform aimed at the automotive industry. So we work with about 420 dealers around the country. So VoiceBox is an email, text, and social media marketing platform that we built to use with those dealers. And obviously within the automotive community, with kind of racing community, lots of people in the racing community are involved with garages or car dealerships or sales outlets. So for us, it's a logical kind of sponsorship, I guess, to get the name out there in front of people in the automotive industry. But also with club racers, digital marketing is so important for sponsorship, for keeping kind of friends, family, followers, fans, sponsors up to date with what's happening. We really wanted to understand the reason really for the ambassador program was to understand from the drivers what we could do with it if we kind of made it into something that was available for racing drivers and racing teams. It's that old thing of you want to get your Instagram posts and your Facebook and Twitter posts out in the lead up to the race weekend and on the race weekend itself. But on the race weekend itself, you're underneath the car fixing bits, changing bits. If for a K race, I'm up and down the stairs to the stewards most of the time. So actually having time to post the stuff you want to post throughout the weekend can be quite difficult. So having a platform that can schedule as much of that stuff in advance. Yes, you want to do the on the spot stuff on the day, but to be able to schedule some of that stuff in advance and the race week and the throwback Thursdays and all that kind of stuff, get all that scheduled in advance so that you can get it all done in one hit. And then for those teams that have the databases that they want to email newsletters to and race updates to and that kind of stuff, have it all on one platform. We thought that there may be something there that we could tailor towards the kind of the club racing teams and drivers. So getting involved with the ambassador program is really for us to kind of understand that a little bit and see how we can kind of tweak the product and the offering to make it applicable.
Fantastic. And you've also been involved a little bit with Barry Ward this year in his mini.
Yeah. So we've had the logo on the back of Baz's mini JCW on the token package. We've had a lot of coverage of that when it's either broken down or crashed. So thanks, Baz.
Bless him.
A lot of TV coverage for that, which is good. And we also helped out Caitlin Wood, who's an Australian driver based in the UK, who did some Nürburgring stuff this year. So we worked with her for a little bit as well. Next season we're going to do a bit of work with MSV. So you'll see our name appearing on a few cars around some MSV championships next year. My 19-year-old now wants to step up from the KA, so he's testing one of Nick Jackson's Fiestas in February to see how he gets on.
Nice.
Love it. So as well as the work with MSV and everything moving forward, what does 2023 bode for yourself? What's the plan?
So I think with the Civic, we're going to do a Track Day Trophy again, like we did this year, but also the Club Sport Trophy rounds as well, as many of those as we can, and potentially Super Sport or Club Enduro, something a bit longer as well. The car's got an endurance tank in it already from its Club Enduro days. So having raced it at the Burkitt, we know that an hour and a half stint on a full tank of fuel is straightforward for it. So we think we can do a 2-hour race with one jug of fuel at a stop. We might give that a bit of a go next season as well. We're going to run at least one KA in all of the enduro car races and probably 2 at some of them as well. And then obviously we'll see what Callum and David do with their seasons next year in terms of either David doing something in a Fiesta, and Callum had his BMW last year, and whether he keeps that or does something else, we'll see what those boys get up to as well. So I think we've had a look at the calendar, and I think from April through to November, we can probably be away from home every weekend if we try hard enough.
Love it.
Commitment. That's that's a real commitment to British motorsport. I like that. But thank you for your efforts, for your involvement with the ambassador program, and also keeping us updated on your shenanigans this year in the KA and in the Civic. And again, Phil, I hope you're watching tonight, mate. So glad to see you back on the mend and back out racing after a bit of a scare early this year. So thank you, Jez.
That's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Dan, last but certainly not least, can I say it's been a crash bang wallop season? Because I've got to say, after that finale at Snetterton in the Civic Cup, I mean, it's on the time attack package, and we said the MR2s are one of the most competitive one-make series. Civic Cup was on another level. That reminded me of peak touring cars when they just rub door panels for the sake of rubbing door panels, especially at the finale. You've had ups, you've had downs, you've had sideways, you've had opposite lock, you've had the right way of lock, you've had screaming 10,000 RPM, you've had no gearbox. It's been a mental year, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a fair assumption. And yeah, the last race was just a mental race to be involved in. I mean, it was kind of a unique situation where there was 4 people who were still in the shout for the championship, and it was coming down to the championship was changing hands during a lap. So, I mean, it was kind of unique in that there was a lot of pressure for everyone, and I guess a slice of desperation maybe in some of the moves that were happening, and thrown into the mix, tricky conditions, drying, horribly wet track at 6 p.m. at night, and it made it a good race. And I know the last 2 laps in particular, where I was 5th, then 1st, and then 3rd, then 2nd. I've had quite a lot of comments about the end of that race, and that was quite interesting and fun to be involved in, I would say.
When Paul O'Neill is singing its praises, and he's on the commentary team with Andy McEwen, so you could say, okay, a bit biased because he's on it, but with someone like that, a BRDC member and someone as esteemed as Paul O'Neill is singing the praises of a series and what's going on, I mean, you've got a lot of notice this year in this. It's a beautifully prepared car as well. You must be quite proud of it, your achievements this year.
Yeah, last year I only did 2 rounds. I blew the engine and the gearbox at once, which was quite unfortunate, and that kind of paid to the season, budget reasons, and also, once you lose a whole round, if you really realistically want to win a championship, it's not really going to be possible. So I kind of concentrated on this year. We had best laid plans, to do many testing days and try and get up to speed. And as always, so many things got in the way. Like I couldn't do the track day with you guys. The car wasn't quite ready. Parts had turned up. There was still COVID hangover of supply issues, and I ended up turning up to Cadwell round 1, having tested the car for about 10 minutes in total since July the previous year. It was just, after having such a good plan of what we was hoping, to be prepared, it was such a nightmare. And then I turned up at Cadwell, had the test day, and my engine mount snapped. Aftermarket engine mounts, they don't, it was something you don't expect to happen. And the gearbox blew as well. And so it was just like, after being so excited for the season, really feeling unprepared. And like you said, the nature of the championship is so tight. I found this year that the car has to be on point as well. As much as you can drive hard, the car really does have to be set up, because the really small details do matter in these cars when they're so tight. And we came out of Cadwell not too bad. I managed to win the first race.
I was going to say, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I've not tested and this car's broken. And I won.
It was. I was fearing the worst, and so to get away with the win was amazing. And the second race was so close. I started in the reverse grid 10th and actually got into the lead. I kind of couldn't believe I was there. And unfortunately, on the move to the lead, we banged wheels with the side by side with the other guy and bent my steering. And it wasn't even that hard a touch. It was really frustrating. So I struggled for the rest of that race and dropped to 4th. And then when you start again further back, it's so hard to get through at a track like Cadwell. So we came away, thinking it could have been more, but it's still an amazing start. And then brands for us. I was running with Motion Motorsport for most of the year because they built my Type R trophy car, and I just knew that they're the best guys. I know them really well. I knew that they turn out an amazing car, and I trust with them at the weekend the car will be the best it can be. But due to the late nature of me choosing to race with them, they had commitments with the Type R trophy running, I think 8 cars, and so when the rounds clashed, I was kind of on my own. And I don't know if anyone who knows me and my dad, we are no mechanics, so we were really winging it at the meetings where we were on our own. And Brand's first round of Brand happened to be where just everything went wrong, and I was literally, it was raining, and I was on YouTube looking at how to fix parts of the car, like literally trying to do it, watching YouTube videos. Like we literally was everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, and then I was on the receiving end of some robust driving, and then a brake failure as well. So that round probably is actually what did us the damage from the championship, really, because the guys are so consistent. I lost so many points that race weekend that I was kind of fighting back from then onwards, chipping away at it, but it just wasn't quite enough.
But that being said, okay, brands cost you, but you look at some of the caliber of the other drivers in that field. run by teams that are running touring cars. Area Motorsport, they've won Civic Cup. They've been there. They've done it. Got the T-shirt. They've got an entire wardrobe full of winners' T-shirts. They're also running TCR cars there as well, so they know what they're doing. And you're racing against arguably two of the best drivers in that particular series that have been there, done it, got the T-shirt. You get the picture. So you must still feel an immense sense of pride being able to go toe-to-toe when arguably, as you said, at some rounds, it's just you and your dad.
Yeah, I think it was 3 rounds that we did on our own. And we just suffered a little bit because we can't really set the car up either. So when I was struggling with things, I was just having to deal with it. Like, we don't have the expertise to know how to even change the setup at all. So the car would be turning up, and that was it for the weekend. And we really struggled with no testing this year. I mean, partly because budget, partly because some of the times that the day before the race weekend there was no testing, so it required you to kind of go down there separately, which is just not really possible for me to do. So I'd spend time getting up to speed when you can't really afford that. So yeah, when we considered everything involved, like, some of the results have been amazing, and unfortunately for us, the level this year, it's been commented on a few times, kind of it just got so fast that the cars are exactly the same. But I think we broke the lap records between us at every track that we've been to this year. Not really have a good reason why, but I think the 4 or 5 or 6 of us at front most of the time were just pushing each other so hard, and there was such fine margins that we were literally just improving each other, and it was quite noticeable where the second time we came back to Brands Hatch, the times had all improved. The cars are identical. The track was identical as well. And like the pole time was like 53 dead. And considering the cars, that's some speed really. And we were all within a tenth of each other then again. So in that sense, it's been amazing. I've learned a lot as well, like door-to-door racing, because I don't know why, but everyone seems to think I'm really experienced. I'm not quite sure why, but we worked it out this year. I think I've done 9 race meetings before this season to do a full season because of COVID. And then the Type R Trophy was just odd rounds because it was brand new. And so I actually made some really rookie errors this year. For instance, at Castle Combe, I was flying around in practice and quali. My references for braking and stuff, I was using tarmac changes and stuff on the track. Then when I got into the race and there was someone in front of me, I couldn't see them. Stupid things like that you only do once, and then you don't know, that it's an issue. And so learning like that was good fun, and wet, challenging conditions, like at Snet in the rain, and being kind of exposed to all of it, and with the guys you're racing against, like Matt Luff, Alice Camp, those guys that are just always going to be at the front. They're always extremely fast. Team preparation on the cars that you're against are really on point. Kind of to be there all the time was and consistently there was a really high point of the season. Didn't quite have enough in the end. I think from the second half of the season onwards, I think I had the most points. So, I mean, that can only be positive for next year, really. If we can keep everything on a good level and have a bit of luck, it looks good, really.
So
watch more YouTube videos as well on how to set your car up.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Give one of us a ring and we'll come down and span it for you.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I mean,
Didn't
it was
you at one
good to have,
point?
sorry.
I'll be up for that.
Didn't you at one point nick a shot from Jez?
Yes. Brands, that was the fateful Brands Hatch round where everything went wrong. The funny thing about that was I picked the car up from motion and it was perfect, ready to go. We were driving down. Me and my dad were driving down to the track, and we were just like, right, let's just hope nothing goes wrong. We've got some testing for once. Perfect. I was chatting to Morgan Bailey, who was situated next to us in the paddock. Because the good thing about the Civic Cup is that us drivers, all get on. I mean, we obviously are desperate to beat each other, but we always say to each other, number one, we want to win. Number two, we all want to just drive home and be good terms at the end of the day. Drive the car into the trailer, and it's club racing at the end of the day. And they were actually helping me unload the car from the trailer, and took the car from the trailer. And there's a big puddle of oil on the front side, and I was like, "Where's that come from?" And they found a shock had collapsed on the way to the track, and it was just like, of all the times, where you just needed a bit of luck. it was not on our side. Yeah, so trying to find a shock, and luckily Jezza had one and drove down to his very nicely.
Look at that. The ambassador program, see?
That's the program for you. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I did love that when we were getting the updates on the old WhatsApp group that we all set up. That was great because I think I was working that weekend again, and to see we're on our way to get a shock. Oh, we're off to do this. We're off to do that. I was like, well.
I know. I mean, everyone was in the bar afterwards, and then my TPS, my throttle percentage was broken, and the paddock is really open. You can go and ask anyone for parts. You know, if they do have them, as long as it's not their only one, you know, they will give it to you. Even though you're directly racing them, you know, like I've had parts of the area, I've had parts of everyone. You know, that I love that about it. But they would give me the part, you know, still attached to like the inlet or something, and they'd be like, "Oh, here you go," and I'm like looking at myself, going, "I don't know how to get it off." I was like, "Thanks."
What bit do I need?
Yeah, I was like, "Thanks." And me and my dad were like in the rain on YouTube looking at how to take it off, how to set it up and position it. It's just one of those weekends where you do wonder why you do it afterwards. But in the end, it is a good learning experience and a good part of the fun, and gives us a couple of stories, I guess.
Nice. So, I mean, before I talk about 2023, I mean, to have what you would call a shocker at Brands, but to still against those genuinely, no pun intended, but to have that shocker at Brands, but still put in those lap times amongst the other. I mean, you could even see it on the live stream. I mean, Brands and Castle Combe, for that matter, are not tracks that when you are pushing it to the absolute limit and it goes wrong, it will bite. And for you guys to be pushing each other that hard, you're doing 53s?
Yeah, 53 dead, yeah. I mean, the pace that we were pulling out sometimes, it was surprising even us a lot. We didn't really have a good answer why we were going so much faster. It could only be that we were, you know, Jack Harding came into the championship with great pedigree from the MX-5s. And he was always there, you know, Morgan Bailey's always there, you know, they're always there. So one mistake, one, you know, not on form, and you really were like, not, you know, completely out further down the grid. It was, there was, you know, I'm talking, when I say a bad lap, I mean like a tenth or two off your optimal. I don't mean you had the mare, you were literally, you know, really far down the grid. And the frustrating thing, I think, for me, sometimes I made a couple of mistakes, like qualifying at Castle Combe. It was my first time racing there, and I just loved it. From lap one, it was just like, this track is a bit of me. And you know what it is when you love a track, you just seem to go well there. I don't know if everyone else finds that as well.
Yeah.
And I made a few mistakes in quali, didn't get my lap together. And at Alton Park, I had a bit of testing at Alton Park, and really fast. And then the car just felt horrible in quali and both races, and we found out afterwards it actually snapped my anti-roll bar. The mount had snapped. We couldn't see the way it was snapped. So it was like things like that was frustrating, because you had a high going into it, a real high expectation, and then I was like, I don't understand why the car doesn't feel that great. The temperatures were insane. It was that really hot weekend, and so I haven't driven in those conditions before. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just the conditions. You know, a lack of experience of being like forthright, being like, no, something is definitely different. Because we actually tested in like mid-20s or whatever it was, and then it went up to stupid like 30s. I mean, do you remember Steph? You were there. And I was like, oh, it must be the weather then, yeah. And then we found out after the weekend, which is the next day, when we, you know, you could see the crack of the mount actually completely snapped underneath, we just couldn't see. And so things like that, you're afterwards, you're a bit like, oh, you know, what could have been kind of thing. But
yeah,
to still scrape some results, and at the end of the day, be in with a shout in the championship in the last race. It can only be a good thing, and the last weekend was fun anyway. I mean, I know the races were a bit mad, but the experience of multiple changing conditions and everything on the line, pressure kind of times, it was a great experience, I think, to be honest, and a lot learned this year.
Wonderful. So 2023, is it a full title attack and get back into it?
Just quickly, I just want to jump in there quick. Just if anyone hasn't seen that last Civic race, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
Just go and watch
incredible.
it on YouTube. It's got to be the most. We'll talk about the Club Racing UK Awards later on, but it's definitely got to be maybe that should be an award for the best race of the year. I think it would be safe to say that would win it hands down. That's for sure.
Yeah, I actually had so many comments about that race I didn't realise so many people, like my friends and extended friends and stuff, actually watched the race as much as they did. I had no idea until kind of after that race, when I had so many comments, and I'm like, oh, we was all in the lounge watching it, my whole family, my nan and granddad, and I was like, what? So they were like, they couldn't believe the race. They were just like, this is just insane. Like, so they were like, converted to watching, and they were like, oh, yeah. I spoke to someone's grandparents, and oh, so much better than Formula One. It was so exciting, and then it's fun when you hear that kind of stuff, because you don't know the reach sometimes. We have a live stream, but you don't, it's mostly us petrol heads, isn't it? So when you find out that it's good for other people to watch as well, it's quite nice. And I did enjoy I was still sad about what happened at the weekend, overall. But also, I'm a high for being involved in something which was quite a good spectacle. Well, the last 2 laps I was on the back end of it, but still fun.
Well, someone was in the back end of you, because
I mean, my car had done a bit of rallycross on that last lap, and I actually, when I got into the lead, I was like, because I did feel I had really good pace. I love Snet. I think it's probably my favourite track, and in the drying conditions, it's just, I think they're my favourite conditions, where it's kind of still wet, but you can, lean on the car a little bit. And I got into the lead, and I thought, yes, there we go. And then I was, eased off and on the grass, and I was like, oh my god, this is just carnage.
I was surprised. Sorry, no.
No, that was it, mate. No, good.
I was surprised that it was the SNET 200 and not the 300.
Yeah.
Is that like
Time attack layout?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's a time attack layout because it's got 2 big straights on it. Just saying.
I love that track. I mean, I love the mixture of fast, and I think the car's kind of on the edge so much at Snet, like first corner, and I assume most cars are the same. I feel like it's one of those tracks where you get that to the straight after a lap, and you're like, deep breath, go again, because the first corner is one of those where you really need to suck it up and throw it in, don't you? Like,
yeah,
that's a bit like
it's kind of true. The apex speed is, I guess, is the same no matter whether you're in a 600 horsepower monster or a KA. It's
well, it's like we were lucky. Obviously, we did our pre-season track day there, and obviously Nick took us out in the Audi, and oh my god, it was my first ever experience of slicks, and obviously Snetterton is flat out. Honestly, I still think my eyes and my brain and everything are still over one side of my head, because we cornered so hard. It was like, oh, I couldn't. It was immense. It was so good.
No,
what a track!
That's great
Fair
fun.
play, I
I
love
love
that. It's again, it's a testament to the series and how you've gone this year, Dan. Congratulations, mate. Genuinely.
Just glad you managed to keep it enough in one piece to do the Burkett the week after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did say, I was worried about it was the weekend after, wasn't I? So, what was on the line, I was a bit worried, and the conditions, anything could have happened. So it needed a new exhaust, and I think that was about it. So we got away with it.
Didn't you say to us at the Burkett, though, you went to Snetterton with 2 trailers? One was either coming back with you, or it was going straight to Motion.
Yeah, I mean, Motion took the car there, and for me, after the short turnaround from the weekend before, and I took my trailer with the hope that I would be taking it home, but they took their trailer as well in case it did go wrong. The turnaround was a week; they'd have to take it home. In the end, they had to take it. So I went back with an empty trailer, which was like, oh, okay. But I mean, yeah, that was to be safe, I'd say.
Made it though.
Yeah. What a day that was as well. It's so nice to ride the GP circuit after watching it for your whole life. Essentially, it's not easy to ever get on it, is it? So, thanks so much for that experience, because I was dying to get around the GP circuit.
Oh, superb!
That's good. Fastest Civic driver of the weekend as well, I believe. Were you not?
I don't know, actually. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And the crazy thing when I was going through my data afterwards, you know what it's like? We just want to know how fast we could have gone. And we had a lot of track time, didn't we? And not one lap was clear. It was crazy.
No.
To think that couldn't be possible on a track that's that long. That variety of cars, there was not one. Like my ideal time was over 2 seconds quicker than what happened because there were just so many cars and fast cars, slow cars. Radical was just insane in the wet. Just watching them go around was just a sight on itself, and it's hard to throw it off trying to follow them.
They don't try and follow a Radical.
No. No.
You drive your head on there, don't you? You're like, oh, go on. Oh,
no. Bye.
Gonna break 5 years ago.
Yeah. See ya. Radical. I still don't get why they're in the Burkett. It's phenomenal, but
yeah, they are.
Closed real car.
I know, but hey ho, we'll see. So 2023, Dan, more Civic Cup and really go for that title.
Yeah, I think that's the aim. I could do some sponsoring this year. That's definitely got to be a top of agenda because we missed a lot. We've not been able to test, and the rounds next year are some amazing tracks I've never been to, Croft and Knock Hill, which is insane to have on the calendar. But obviously, logistically, it's a challenge and it's a cost, because it's going to take quite a lot of time to be up there and stuff. So definitely the aim, definitely with Motion. I've really enjoyed how we ran the car this year with them, and any time we actually had a test, the improvements we made. Funny enough, the most improvement we made all year was the test before Snap in the dry. Unfortunately, it was in the dry, but just that was the first time we had a full day, me and the team and the car, and the improvements were just unbelievable. Just being able to try stuff for a change. So we've realised that's massively important. You can't turn up and wing it in the Civic Cup. It's not possible. So that's hopefully the aim. And just work hard over the winter, get some sponsorship, and go for it.
Do it.
Great, honestly. And again, I say it to all three of you. You've been a wonderful, I would say, wonderful ambassadors this year. Because of course that is your role. But you've been wonderful to be involved with this year. And I think, albeit two are in single mate championships, you probably couldn't pick three more different styles of drivers in three different styles of series, three different styles of cars. Absolutely.
That's exactly what this program's all about, Rob.
It's been awesome.
We sat down and we had a huge response to it last year, and it's very much hotting up the same this year as well already. And it is still only December. But yeah, honestly, guys, it's been an absolute honour to have all three of you and all our amazing partners we've had on board this year. Obviously, yourself, Jez, and everybody else who's been involved. Everybody's chipped in, done their bit, everything that we can do to obviously ease and help your years where possible. It's been it's been good. I'm well chuffed. Considering it's only our third year doing the ambassador program. It's we're constantly learning as we go as well, and going into 2023's ambassador program and into the fourth year of doing it, we're making a few more changes for it, and we can't wait. It's going to be good.
It's sad to hand over the baton. It's been a great year.
Well, unfortunately, it has to happen.
I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't ask that. We don't ask for those back. They're yours now.
Just keep the Burkett empty on your calendar.
Exactly. I still owed Nick a drive in my car, didn't I? So. Yeah. Nick Holmes loves an EP3. I still promised him a drive, so I've got to sort that at some point.
that elusive Honda drive is still not happened. But one day, you never know. 2023 might be my year. Who knows?
How did Steph get one and you didn't? What's that all about?
Well, funny you should say that. I was meant to do that drive, but lo and behold, my day job got in the way.
We love those.
Who's lost my game?
Well, to be fair, wasn't it? It was Justin messaged me and was like, Nick, this weekend, I think was it Brad? No, it was Donington, wasn't it?
First one, yeah.
Weekend of Donington. He was like, Nick, Donington, now, come on, you're going racing. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm working. So it was, so I literally said, look, just drop Steph a text. He might be free. And yeah, lo and behold, off he went. And now they've become best friends and, you know, they share tyres together and win trophies together. And it's just, yeah, I'm not.
Get penalty points in their license together.
That's you out.
Yeah, they do that as well. So,
Well, he wouldn't share. I tried. He wouldn't share. They're all on mine now.
Yeah.
Stefan, what do you like competing in, the Civic or the Mini?
Right, there's a simple answer to this.
And that concludes our show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not getting into that. Bye.
No, we can get into that now. There's news, isn't there, Steph?
News.
I've sold my share in the Mini, so I no longer own the Mini.
Yeah.
EP free time.
No, he's a Ford man. He's a Ford man.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were a Vauxhall man. Oh no, that's Nick.
He is a Vauxhall man. Yes, he is.
I've got a Vauxhall in the garage at the moment.
You have.
No. Yeah, no, I loved it. Yeah.
The sooner you build it, the sooner you can get rid of it. Just saying.
Where's it going to go?
Go back to my garage.
To your garage, the burnt out
Moped outside it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a lovely old places, Waterloo Estate.
That rack must be highly flammable.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not after all my hours of hard work wrapping it, sticking it in that garage. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even sat in your garage, dickhead over here breaks it like he did yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Oh, do tell. Do tell.
I was just literally, I was sat on the front of it yesterday. We were just chatting away. Steph had done the gearbox selector mount yesterday. He's done a cracking job. We've now got gears for the Vectra. Woo! And then I was just sat on the front crash bar, and all of a sudden it snapped. So Steph now needs to do a bit more welding because this fat shit, and he's already eaten too much mince pies, and he's broken the car.
Snap the front crash bar. I mean,
Is it that rusty?
Hey, keep going.
For the record, actually, it's just the top part that the bonnet would bolt down onto, and the headlights would. It's
you still snap steel. That's what we're going with. Just was sitting on it.
Just because I'm an oaf.
Yeah. What's the GIF you use? That would be my fat ass.
Fat ass. But yeah, so that's good. But no, going back to the ambassador program, honestly, guys, it's been a real pleasure to have you guys and our partners. I should give a shout out to all our partners, obviously. Marketing Delivery. Thank you very much, Jez. Obviously, we've had Callum from Turn 7 was meant to join us this evening as well, but he's been stuck in London, so it's been great to have Callum on board. We've had Kerry from Keep Well, Uncle Luke's Sign and Sticker Shop. Oh, look, Steph's got the. Have you got all of them?
No, not all of them. We've got most of them. So we've got NJM. We've
NJM
got
Racing.
NJM Racing. All Square Racing Road as well on board. Scruffy Bear Pictures with Darren Cook. We have to mention as well EBC Brakes. They've been phenomenal this year.
They've been fantastic,
for the ambassador program and overall.
Obviously, we've had Wired Remote as well. Race Fit. Nick from Rock Fit as well. And then, we've had, and then not to mention our title sponsor, Silver Lake, as well. So, it's been good. It's been a really good year for the program. We've got lots of plans in the pipeline for next year. Hopefully looking to do what we're doing, track day. So, pre-season track day for everybody who does apply. Not everybody applies, the 3 chosen ambassadors. That'd be good, wouldn't it? That'd be going really well. Very expensive. And then we're going to look at doing the Burkett again was always our plan, but obviously with Rob going along to the Race of Remembrance next year, we're going to try and possibly
Well, I'm going along to it. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I was lucky enough and very privileged enough to commentate on it this year. So
Yeah.
I said to myself, no matter what happens, I'm either commentating, spannering, or taking my own car there because it's a hell of an event.
Well, this is what we said. So obviously, you enjoying it, and obviously hearing, obviously Callum did it as well. So lots of others. So it just sounds like a really good event. So we're hoping maybe next year we'll do that as well. Obviously, we'll have to see what 2023 has in store for us. But yeah, it's going to be good.
Absolutely, guys. And once again, my thanks to the ambassador drivers for Jez to coming on and all the ambassador partners this year. I think at this point, I need to hand over to Stefan because, Steph, you've been very busy behind the scenes in the past few weeks, certainly in terms of merchandise and, of course, mentioning how to apply for the ambassadors next year. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to your fine self.
Well, thanks, Rob.
Just a bit on the spot there.
I'll continue with the ambassador bit, just because we were talking about it. Obviously, to apply for the ambassador program, just head to our website. There's an ambassador section, or there's a link on the home screen. You just need to become a member of Club Racing UK, and then just send us an email to the email address that's on the page, just a short bio about yourself and what your plans are for 23. Also, we're not looking for anyone special, race winning, all the rest of it. You just have to have a passion for motorsport and be involved in obviously club racing. So that's how you get involved. T-shirts wise, so we've got some new T-shirts out. We've got the Track Limits You Say T-shirt. Send it. Taxi to the Apex. They're all out now on our website, so just head on there, order up your T-shirt. If you want it before Christmas, it needs to be ordered ideally before Sunday, and we can pretty much guarantee it be there. If it's after Sunday, who knows? There's some strikes looming and all the rest of it, so we wouldn't be able to guarantee it. But yeah, if you want any of that merch, pick up before Sunday and you get it before Christmas. Thanks to everyone that has made the orders already. I put a post up on everyone saying they've been delivered today, so you should receive them hopefully the next couple of days. But yeah, check out the website, buy some merch. We've got some new stuff on the way. More stuff.
Buy some merch.
We will soon have some bubble hats. I'm just getting one sent to us at the moment, so we can get some photos of it and get up because I can't.
I'm going to model it.
Yeah, I haven't got the wizardry power of rendering it and making it look fancy. It looked really crap when I did it, so we just get one sent, we get some photos of it, and then we get it up for sale. And then we've got some cool ideas for next year for some merch. So keep your eyes peeled on the socials and stuff, and then we get it up on there. Boom.
It's got to be good.
And that was the Stefan Marsh merchandise zone portion of the podcast.
Yeah.
The popular one seems to be the Send It one, so
yeah,
send it.
But it's something we all say, isn't it? We're just going to send it. But,
yeah,
sure, that's going down really well, which is good.
No, good. And make sure you do send it before the appropriate time, otherwise the Royal Mail may not be able to send it before Christmas. That is the well, they want better pay. Good on them. Nicholas, over to you, sir.
Right, so I'm going to give my little bit of a spiel now. In case anyone hasn't seen it, the 2022 Club Racing UK Awards are now out. We have got 6 categories that you can all vote for. We're going to make it nice and simple this year. Is simply, I've pinned all the categories to the top of the paddock page, and they're only on the paddock page. The categories are Save of the Year, which will be sponsored by Turn 7. So the winner of that will get a pair of fireproof Nomex underwear.
Probably need some now.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a few people that will need them. Then we've got Best Series and Champion, or Best Series or Championship, Best Photograph, which is a new one this year, Driver of the Year, and then we've got Team of the Year, and then Best Looking Grid of the Year. So the idea being just put your vote in the relevant category, get liking, sharing, voting, etc. The most liked and shared ones, or the most common ones, we'll pick 3 or the top 3, and then we're all going to choose with the category sponsors our favourites for the year. So, yeah, they're going to be up until, we're probably going to run that because we're going to do the awards in 2 weeks' time on this show. So we're probably going to run it, I think it's the 21st, is it, that show?
Yeah.
So I think we're probably going to run them up to about the weekend before, give us a chance to like go through them all and get in touch with everybody as well. So that'll probably be 18th, 19th of December-ish. We'll leave them open till then, and then we'll close them all down and win some prizes hopefully.
There we go. So
get liking.
Nick? Yes, get liking.
So.
Yeah,
I'm not a good salesman, am I? But it's a cool bit of fun to end the year on. It'll be our last show of the year. We're going to come suited and booted, so come along with us. Yes.
Oh right.
We said this at the pub. Smart attire, suited and booted. And then we want everyone to come along. Obviously, it's the 21st of December, so it'll be the last one before Christmas. It'll also be our last show of the year, so we're going to sign off 2022 with a nice drink and a hoorah, awards night, and a bit of a giggle. So come along, and should be a fun night.
Yeah, suited and booted. I thought we were doing Christmas jumpers.
That's good.
I don't care. Just wear something nice or funny. Just...
Might get my birthday suit out. Why not?
Also,
that'd be fun. Birthday
also
suit
tomorrow
night.
Tomorrow night is another update on the Vectra on YouTube. Check it out. 7:30.
Yeah.
Boom. I think does tomorrow night cover snapping metal or leaning of bonnets?
No.
Okay. That's an episode 2 come later on.
Unfortunately, I didn't get that on camera.
Oh right. Okay. Probably. Yeah,
it was well, to be fair, it's the one time the camera doesn't roll, which is good. I was literally just sat there, minding my own business. We were chatting away, la la la, and I just went crack and fell through the front of the car. So yes.
Unbelievable. Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening, ladies and gents. Thank you to Nick Vaughan, to Cameron Bell and Dan Thackeray for your participation, your wonderful racing this year, and for working with us as the Club Racing UK ambassadors for 2022. Jezza, thank you for coming on tonight, mate, and your wonderful work with marketing delivery. And to our other partners that sadly couldn't make it tonight, the likes of Turn 7, the likes of EBC Brakes, the likes of Keepwell, NJM, All Square Race and Road, Uncle Luke Sign Sticker Shop, Scruffy Bear Pictures, Draw Breath, Tom Barley, Wide GoPro Remote as well. Thank you to those guys, and keep posted. And in 2 weeks will be the Club Racing UK Awards for 2022. But for tonight, it's good night from me, Robert Lewis, from Nick Holmes and Stefan March. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Good night, everyone, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers, boys.